All right, guys, this is lesson 3.3. We're going to talk about calculating the area of different surfaces in a room and determining the cost of the necessary materials. So, this is what a room looks like if you look at it from above. It's called a bird's eye view. If you look at it over the top, it's called a bird's eye view. This is a three-dimensional view. So in a room, there is a ceiling and a floor. So the ceiling would be like this, and a floor. That would be these. Now, if you look at this floor, this is called a floor plan. The ceiling would match that shape. You would just basically put a lid on it. And then there's four walls. So we have the right wall that's going to match the left wall. Those will be the same. And then we have the back wall, which is going to match the front wall. So there's a lot of markings going on here, but it's basically like the front and back will match, the left and the right will match, and the top and the bottom will match. So there's potentially 6 spaces that you'll need to find the area of depending on what you're doing to the room. So for example, in my house, I don't paint the floor and I don't paint the ceiling, but I do paint the walls. So these are the things that I would consider. So there's a note about the height that I want to make. So when you get the height for a room, the height will be included in all the walls. It is never included in the ceiling or floor. Ceiling. Okay. So when we look at finding the area of rooms, we need to see what we're supposed to find the area of so we know what to include. So in this example, it says if you wanted to paint a classroom and it was 22 feet long, 17 feet wide, and 9 feet high, what would the area be for each of the walls? So if you were standing in a classroom, again, the height goes on all the walls. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, all right, well, this wall is 9 feet high and this wall is 9 feet high. And then we can look at the other two walls. Whoops. And those will also have a height of 9 feet because you have to have the same height so you can put the ceiling on. So with this one, the height is on all walls. And then we just choose 2 walls to be 22 feet long because 2 of them will match. So 22 and 22. And then the other one is going to be 17. So 17, 17. This one, it doesn't want us to paint the floor or the ceiling. It doesn't say anything about the floor or the ceiling. It just says the walls. So that means we can cross this off and cross this off. What we need to do is find the area of each of the walls. So we would do 9 times 17, which is 153. So that means we can just call this the right and the left wall. That's fine. They'll match. And it's feet squared, feet squared. Then we have to do it for the other walls. So 9 times 22. Whoops. And that's 198. Which means this is 198. So the front and the back would match. And then the total, which is what we were looking at, is to add all of those up. So we need to add these 4 walls. So we would do 153 plus 153 plus 198 plus 198, or multiply them and then add them. So it's 702 square feet. So you could buy your paint based on 702 square feet. All right, the next one says a room is 12 feet by 8 feet, 12 feet by 10 feet by 8 feet high. So this goes on all the walls, but not the ceiling. It says I want to paint walls, ceiling, and floor. Okay, so let's draw our 4 walls. I'm going to put a C for ceiling. I'm going to put an F for floor. So I always draw out the pictures. So the first thing is this 8 is going to go on all of the walls. So, oopsie. 8, 8, 8, 8. It is going to go on not the ceiling and the floor. So it never goes on the ceiling and the floor. Because the ceiling is like the lid and the floor is like the bottom. So you don't need to worry about how tall the room is. Then we're going to pick the 12 foot and we're going to put that on one wall and then its partner. And then we're going to choose the other one to do 10 feet and 10 feet. The ceiling and the floor will be the same. Those will be 10, 10, 12, 12. Okay? So the ceiling and the floor are the length of the walls. It has nothing to do with the height of the room. And then you just multiply. So 8 times 12, 8 times 12 is 96. So that means this is 96. And then 8 times 10 is 80. So that means this is 80. And then 10 times 12 is 120. So that means this is 120. And then we have to add them up. So 120 times 2 plus 96 times 2 plus 80 times 2 is 592 square feet. That's the total area of that space. All right, this one says Takayla is painting the walls and ceiling in her bedroom. The room is 14 feet long, 12 feet wide, and 9 feet tall. Okay, 9 feet tall. That's the height. Draw each wall and the ceiling. Label the dimensions. Find the area of each wall and ceiling and find the total area. That sounds like a lot, but it's basically just telling you what to find the area of. So we don't care about the floor on this, you guys. We just need the 4 walls. And then the ceiling. So the walls are all 9 feet high. 2 of them are going to be 14 feet. And the ceiling is going to be 14. The other walls are going to be 12, 12, and the ceiling will have the 12. Then we need to do some multiplication. So 9 times 14 is 126. 9 times 12, that one's 108. 108. And then 12 times 14 is 168. So then we need to add those up. So we drew those, we labeled the dimensions, we found the area of each, and then now we need to find the total area. So the total is 126 times 2 plus 168 plus, forgot the other number, 108. And that's times 2 because that's a wall. The 168 is the ceiling, so there's only one of those. So 636 square feet. All right, so now it says if a can of paint covers 350 square feet, how many cans does she need? Well, one can is going to cover 350 square feet. Two cans would cover 350 plus 350, which is 700 square feet. So, of course, she needs something between those, but you can't go to Lowe's or Menards or Home Depot and buy part of a can of paint. So what you could do is you could take the total area divided by the square feet. So in this case, that means 636 divided by this 350. And what's going to come out is the exact number of cans you would need. You would need exactly 1.817 blah, blah, blah. But you need to round up because you can't buy a part of a can. So she would need 2 cans. She's just going to have extra. Now the question is, if 1 can costs $19.95, how much will the paint cost? Well, you need 2 cans, so multiply it by 2. $39.90. Of course, there's tax, but it would cost $39.90 because you need 2 cans of paint. All right. Last example. There's nothing this intense usually, but oh, sorry, this one. There's 2 examples. I'm sorry. This one's decent. This one's pretty intense. So here it says a wall is 11 feet by 8 feet. What would the area be in square inches? Okay, there's 12 inches in 1 foot. 12 inches equals 1 foot. So 1 foot would be 12 inches. 2 feet would be 24 inches. 3 feet would be 36 inches. So we need to convert feet to inches by multiplying by 12. So 11 feet times 12 equals 132. 132 inches. Then we need to do 8 feet by 12, which is 96 inches. So to find the area in square inches, you would take 132 times 96. You would do the inches times the inches. Ooh, that's going to be a big number. 12,672. 12,672 inches squared or square inches. Okay, now let's look at this. So in this example, it says Bruce wants to tile the backsplash in his kitchen. If you search backsplash in the kitchen, you can see what that looks like, but it's tiles behind the sink. The backsplash is 1.5 feet tall and 25 feet long. So they're really like short but long things. So 1.5 feet is really, we want to figure out how many inches that is. So 1.5 times 12 is 18 inches. And then 25 feet in inches, we would need to do 25 times 12. That's going to be a really big number. Whoopsie. 300. So that's 300 inches. The reason we need to do that, to convert it into inches, is because each tile is measured in inches. So it says the tiles he's picked out are 3 inches by 6 inches. So the question is, how many tiles should he buy? Well, we can't find the area of the backsplash in feet and then find how many tiles because tiles are in inches. basically we need to have them match. I thought it would be easier to just move it into inches because it would be big numbers. So the area of the backsplash, which is this, would be 18 times 300. We want the area of that big long rectangle. 5,400. And that's square inches. Then we need the area of a tile. So a tile is a small little thing. It's going to be 3 by 6 inches. So the area of that is 3 times 6, which is 18 square inches. So this is different. I already had us convert to inches. So what you would have noticed is that the units are different, but we converted already. So the question is how many tiles? Well, these tiles are really small, and that wall is really big. So we're probably going to need a lot of tiles. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the area, the total area, divided by the tile area. So you're going to take 5,400 divided by 18. You get 300. What that means is you need 300 tiles. It's a lot of tiles. Okay, so feel free to watch this again. Pause it if you need to, speed it up, but then go ahead and take that quiz.